the joule as a unit of energy is something of a little bit of a modern phenomena. Um, when we switched to SI units, at that time it became convenient for us to describe 1 joule as the work done and therefore the energy spent when we apply a force of 1 Newton and displace something by a distance of 1 meter, when the force and the displacement are in the same direction. But obviously energy in terms of measuring of energy has been happening for a long time, and the calorie was one of those historical units, and this unit was found out actually by James Joule, if I am not mistaken, by doing the following. So what he was doing was he was trying to find out what is known as the mechanical equivalent of heat. Because there was a necessity, what was noticed was that whenever there is any mechanical energy that is spent, like say for example, I think the example was that James Joule was a cannon borer, so he was an expert in machining cannons. So you take a sort of cylindrical piece of steel, and you would drill into it, okay, and you would remove the sort of shrapnel bits from that, and that bore which is made inside it would then be the cannon's bore. You understand what I'm trying to say? Okay, so what would happen is that the drill bit, so this is known as the drill bit, when that drills inside, the temperature goes up quite a lot because it's metal scraping against metal, so there's a lot of friction. And as a result of that, you had to keep the drill bit cool by pouring some water into it. And anywhere you can look up YouTube videos on lathes. Okay, so lathes are machines that are used to do this kind of work. They are either used to cut out pieces from the outside or drill out pieces from the inside. So when you do that, what you have to do is you have to constantly pump water inside, a coolant inside. Otherwise, the drill bit will heat up quite a lot, and then the edge will get blunt. So if the edge gets blunt, then you will have to throw the drill bit and you have to replace the drill bit, and that will increase the cost of doing this work. So they were interested to investigate. They wanted to know exactly by how much the energy will, the temperature will go up when you drill something like this. And that was the purpose of doing experiments on finding out the mechanical equivalent of heat. And James Joule found out this quantity, a calorie, by using a container with water in it. Okay, and what he did was he had a paddle inserted into this. So the paddle, of course, was yeah, you'd have to show it like that, if I'm not mistaken. And this part would go, okay, and you would churn this. You turn the paddle. You get the idea of what I'm trying to say? So when you turn the paddle, then you can notice that the temperature, by inserting a thermometer in here, you can notice the increase in temperature, right? So by finding out how much amount of turning is required, and the turning can also be done in an interesting way. I think the way it was done was by using pulleys and a weight. Okay, so what would happen is, this is not the exact mechanism, because if the weight falls then the paddle will go up. The idea was that when the weight falls, the paddle would get churned. Maybe I can show it like this then. with a rope tied around it. Okay, so when the weight falls, the paddle will churn, and when the paddle churns, you can notice the increase in temperature. Just a moment, I'll admit somebody in. Okay, and then he found out this mechanical equation which he called 1 calorie. Okay, so 1 calorie was the amount of energy that has to be spent in order to raise the temperature of water. Wait, let me just clarify that. Temperature of 1 gram of water from 14.5 degrees Celsius to 15.5 degrees Celsius. Basically 1 degree Celsius increase. But he found out for this specific rise in temperature from 14.5 to 15.5 because water's energy consumption per degree rise is not uniform across temperatures. So it can vary. So for this particular temperature range, the amount of energy required to raise the temperature of 1 gram by 1 degree Celsius, he said, was 1 calorie. So the advantage in terms of engineering was that then they could talk in terms of how much that would be for not just water but for steel, say for example. So they would know exactly how much they have to drill before they cool down the drill bit and then again to start drilling, or to use some liquid coolant, at what rate the coolant should be used. So basically it was to make engineering more efficient. So that was the context of the calorie. But a little later, of course, joule, the unit for energy, came into the picture. So the calorie has been less and less used. There is one context in which we still use the unit calorie, which is in terms of nutritional energy, that is energy consumption in terms of the food that you eat. So there we still hold on to the unit calorie, but that is a slightly different conversion from this mechanical equivalent of heat. As far as this syllabus is concerned, we are talking in terms of the mechanical equivalent of heat, the calorie. And the conversion is 1 calorie is equal to approximately equal to 4.18 joules. Okay, so you can then say that 4.18 joules of energy is required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree Celsius. Okay, and that's an interesting sort of relationship that is there. You can exactly say by how much the water's temperature will increase when you provide energy to it. And the result of this is something that we will come across when we study calorimetry. So you will come back to that again. Any questions or doubts that you want to ask at this point of time?
In nutrition, they usually talk about kilocalories, right?
Exactly. So in nutrition, we don't talk in terms of calories, we talk in terms of kilocalories. And that is a slightly different unit, although historically they come from the same thing. In fact, one interesting experiment that we can perform to find out the energy that is there in food is you take a pea, sorry, not, you can take a, what is it, groundnut, a dried groundnut, the kind of groundnut that you get. And you can burn the groundnut. So you have to apparently poke it with a pin and then set fire to it. Okay, and using the fire, you have to heat up, and you note down what is the temperature change that will occur in the water. Okay, and so you completely burn this peanut, and you note down how much energy increase, temperature increase happens to that quantity of water. Of course, you have to take an appropriate quantity of water. You can't take a large quantity of water, a small quantity of water. And if you know how much the temperature rise has been, then by using this relationship, you will be able to work out how much energy the peanut gave, the groundnut gave. The peanut groundnut, you can use anything that basically contains oil in it, so it will burn. So in that way, in that way, you will find out what is the nutritional energy that is packed in a groundnut. And this was the original way of finding out what is the nutritional quantity in foods. Of course, you can't burn everything. So therefore, for objects that you cannot burn, you will have to look at its constituents and then add them up. And that is the reason why when you have products that you buy, you see the list of contents in it, they will break it down. Sugar has this much, wheat has this much, maida has this much, etc., etc. Okay, and answering Arab's question in the chat, in this case, yes, it is a result of mechanical inefficiency. So we don't want heat. When we drill a metal cylinder, heat is not what is required. But unfortunately, heat is also there as a part of the process. But not so much in this case. Okay, any other questions regarding the calorie and the kilocalorie? Yes. It's good that you had done this. The peanut groundnut experiment or the kilocalorie, the James Watt experiment, James Joule experiment.
The peanut experiment.
Okay. Yeah, that's a nice experiment to do.